In Conversation with Terry Shepard, award-winning broadcaster, narrator, and author. A deep dive into the writer's craft with the artists and support systems who create the stories we love.
Thanks, Lisa. Today we are joined by an exciting new voice in crime fiction, Roxie Key, a thriller author from Northampton. Roxie has always been a storyteller, though she'll be the first to admit that her childhood tales about her pets won't be making a comeback anytime soon. But the dream of seeing her name on a book cover never faded. She studied creative and media writing at Middlesex University before honing her craft as a copywriter for a global brand. In 2024, she stepped into the world of crime fiction with her gripping debut novel, Deadly Spark. Set against the backdrop of Brighton's burning streets, the novel follows DC Eve Starling as she hunts a ruthless arsonist. When a mother and daughter perish in a deliberately set blaze, the case turns personal and Eve is forced to confront a past she's tried to forget. But with the killer always one step ahead, how far is she willing to go for the truth? Deadly Spark was released in the UK last year, and it is now available for the first time on this side of the pond. Full disclosure, I met Roxie almost 5 years ago in person and have been a fan of hers ever since. Roxie Key, welcome back to the conversation.
Hi, thank you so much for having me back.
What did it feel like to know that your book was going to be released in the US?
So exciting. Just, I don't know, it's like the thought of it being in a completely different country to where I live is just really exciting. And I'm just very keen to know what people over there think, because it hasn't been changed at all for an American audience. It's exactly the same novel that's been printed in the UK. So there'll be a lot of Englishisms, Britishisms. I have had a couple of reviews comment on that.
What have they said?
They just thought it was quite funny. I don't know. Yeah, I guess some of the things we say probably sound really strange.
That fascinates me because my own books have done very well in the UK. And I guess I didn't realize that there were that kind of cultural differences that creep into literature.
It's little things. I think it was something like I used the word solicitor, not lawyer, car park, not parking lot. Bits like that the reviewer seemed to think was quite funny. But I know sometimes a book will get published over in the States and they'll change a lot of the spellings and, some of the terminology and stuff. But they haven't done that with mine.
The last time you were with us, we were talking about the debut of Deadly Spark in the UK. For those that don't know about the story behind this story, what inspired you to write it?
So a few things inspired me. Reading crime fiction inspired me to write it. I love police procedurals. I love psychological thrillers. So I kind of I couldn't pick one. So I tried to write both in one, a bit of a mashup. And then the content of the story, the main inspiration came from my own phobia of fire. And also my idea for one of the plot twists, which I obviously can't talk about, but I had the idea and I really wanted to work a story around it.
I love the name of your protagonist, Eve Starling. How did you build her?
So she was inspired by a couple of TV detectives that I really liked, real strong female leads. I started with these two women that I was really inspired by. Started writing the character. Obviously, she kind of became her own person after a while. And I've had really good feedback on her. A lot of reviewers say they really like her character and they want to see her come back again. Hopefully that will happen.
And Brighton plays a big role in the book's setting. Why did you choose that location?
This is such a colourful, interesting place. We try to go there. Me and my wife try to go there every year in the summer. It's lovely in the summer. It's just one of the most interesting places in the UK, I think. It's a city, but it's also coastal. It's got such a diverse crowd of people living there. It's just like a character in itself, really. It's really interesting.
You are a professional. You have a career. You have a family. How did you find time to write Deadly Spark?
Admittedly, I wrote it before I had my daughter. So I just got married, come back from my honeymoon, decided I was going to write a book, and then ignored my poor wife for about 6 months. Got the book written, did a lot of apologising. And then, so most of the hard work was done before, but then a lot of the editing, there was a lot of editing on this book that came after she was born, after our daughter was born. That was a bigger struggle, especially because I had restructural edits and quite heavy amount of changes. And now trying to write something new from scratch whilst having a full-time job and a child, that's been a challenge that I wasn't quite expecting.
Is it a little easier to create now that you've been through the process?
Yes, I think because I know the kinds of things that my agent and potential editor would pick up on, feel like I can, as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, and I feel like this would be an issue, or there's a bit of a problem here, and I know someone else will notice it. So I challenge myself to try and fix those things sooner. But yeah, I think having gone through the process once already, well, 1.5 times, because I've written other things like I've written most of the sequel. I'm writing a standalone at the moment, so I think it's just like I'm exercising those muscles in my brain.
Roxie Key is our special guest. Deadly Spark is her book. It was released in 2024 in the UK and is having its debut in the United States at this very moment, available wherever the cool books are sold. Roxie, what was the most fun part of writing the story?
I think it was writing the little moments between the characters. Actually, the stuff that wasn't really the crime fiction stuff, the friendships and the office banter and things like that. I really enjoyed writing those conversations between people, the detectives while they're in their office, like taking a mick out of each other and that kind of thing. Like, I found that quite fun. And also writing about the Brighton setting. I really enjoyed doing that, like bringing that setting to life.
Did the story develop naturally, or did you start and find the characters were taking it places where they wanted to go with it?
It was quite chaotic, actually. I wouldn't choose to write in the same way again. I just kind of had the idea, and a vague idea, and I just started writing. It was very messy. And yeah, the characters do kind of take the story and run with it a little bit. But yeah, it was so chaotic.
Refuse to follow directions. They want to go in their own way.
It got very messy. I'm a lot more planned now with my approach. I don't know how people do it when they don't plan at all.
So would you say after this experience the first time that you're more of a plotter than a pantser?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like to have everything planned out now. I have like a full synopsis written before I start.
And that makes it easier for your creative process to know what's coming up?
Yeah, because I think because the way I write now, with the lack of time that I have to grab time when I can, and it might be like 10 minutes or an hour here. That I had like half an hour before we started recording this podcast. So I wrote 500 words, and had I not planned it out in advance, I probably would have spent that time thinking, okay, what's going to happen? And then not actually getting some words down. It's not so strict that it doesn't allow me to come up with stuff on the spot. Like, I am writing and surprising myself as I go. But the skeleton of the story is very much planned out. It just gives me that word. It gives me the confidence to just start writing.
Where did the fire phobia come from?
When I was at school, I think I was in my first year of school. They showed us a video of how quickly a house can set on fire. I believe it was started by a cigarette on the video, and both of my parents smoked at the time, and it just terrified me, and they dragged me out of there screaming. Ever since then, I just had this really intense phobia. It was like quite consuming, really. I used to worry all night that the fire alarm was going to go off and we wouldn't get out in time. So I thought, why not torment myself and write about it?
Was it therapeutic? Did it help?
I'm not as bad as I was when I was a kid.
So what's changed about your whole approach to writing inside of your head now that you're a mom?
I mean, the approach is very much like I mentioned, I when I get the time to plan and plot, I do that, really focus on that and get everything nailed down. And then I take advantage of when I get little bits of time here and there to write. I think the subject matter is probably quite different. Like, I don't think I could write. I think I struggle to write about anything bad happening to children now. I'd find that a lot harder. Yeah, it's definitely different. I think it's just mainly the timing issue.
Can you imagine your daughter reading the book and thinking that it was you that wrote it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe one day hopefully I'll have lots of books out by then that she can choose from, and maybe I will even write a children's book that she can read. Yeah, it's a weird thought thinking one day she might read my book.
Well, Roxie Key is our guest. Her book is The Deadly Spark. It's been a hit in the UK, and now, like the Beatles, it's taking the United States by storm. Publishing industry has changed dramatically for you and I just in the years that we've known each other. What do you think about as you're creating a book from that business perspective? Do you worry about the business side, or is it still just a creative adventure for you?
I try not to worry too much about the publishing side of things because I can't impact that. I just think I'm going to write the best book I possibly can. I can integrate any learnings from my experience of publishing a book and just kind of hope for the best, really. I hear things all the time that make me quite anxious. A lot of stuff around AI, like books being written by AI and things like that, which makes me worry. But ultimately, there's just nothing that I can do to control those external factors. So I'm just going to write as best I can.
So how do you stay resilient with so many things going on in your life?
I think it's hard, but I think talking to other writers and authors really helps. I'm in a few groups where we chat and talk about this kind of stuff, and it really helps to sort of know other people that are in the same boat. Because writing can be quite lonely, can't it? If you don't have a circle of writing friends around you, you just never know if what you're feeling is normal or what you're experiencing is okay. So I think, having writer friends just helps keep me sane, really.
Do you ever share your stuff ahead of time with that group to see what they think?
I have shared bits and pieces. When I was writing The Deadly Spark, I was sharing early drafts with people. I shared like synopsis with them to see what they think of how the stories, like the direction of the story is going and bits like that. And I definitely will share like early versions with people. I'm not at that stage yet, but I definitely will. I'm quite open to feedback at early stages. I found that actually really helped me the first time round, because then when I did get to the point where I was getting feedback from my agent and editor, I didn't find it as hard to deal with the feedback because I've kind of already gone through that.
What does it feel like that first time your manuscript comes back from the pros and they've ripped it to shreds?
I mean, it's eye-opening. With The Deadly Spark, I knew it was coming because I'd had the conversation with my editor. He'd talked me through the changes that he'd like to make before I even signed the contract. So it wasn't too much of a shock. I think possibly my first edit with my agent was a bit of a like, whoa kind of moment. But I just thought, I trust these people. They know what they're doing. They know a lot more than me. And it's such a better book for having those changes. So I'm just glad I took everything on board, really.
What do you hope that readers will take away from their experience with The Deadly Spark?
Just hope they really enjoy it and connect with the characters. That's all I really care about, really, is just people get that enjoyment. It's not like this big and deep and meaningful book that's going to give you a profound experience or anything like that. I just hope, I love when I get reviews from people that say, like, I sped through it in 2 days, I couldn't put it down. Like, that's the kind of experience that I hope the majority of people will get from it. And it's just enjoyment.
You've given us a tantalizing hint. Will we see more from Eve Starling in the future?
I very much hope so. There is a sequel in the works. I don't have a publisher for it yet, but it's nearly finished, so that's exciting. And then I'm also working on a standalone psychological thriller as well, which I'm really excited about too.
What can you share about that without giving away any secrets?
All I can say is a strong theme of the book is sleepwalking.
Okay.
What we are capable of when we're sleepwalking.
I'm interested already. And do you have a deadline that you want to hit to get the next book published, or are you just doing it at the pace that life allows you to do?
I think I have to do it at the pace life allows me to. I think as well, try not to think too far ahead. If the end goal is really huge, I can find it quite difficult. So at the moment, my goal is to just finish my first draft and then see where we're going.
The book is A Deadly Spark. I've read it. I love it. I highly recommend it. It is now available wherever cool books are sold in the U.S., written by our special guest all the way from the UK, Roxie Key. Thanks. This has been great.
Thank you. It's been so nice to talk to you again.
In Conversation with Terry Shepard is a copyrighted presentation. All rights reserved. I'm Lisa Davis. Join Terry Shepard next time in Conversation.